Hello, Aaron. Imagine, please, the following scenario. Imagine you're the middle of three brothers. You have an older brother and a younger brother. Your younger brother is the light in your eyes. Um, he loves you and your older brother very much, and it is a joy to watch him grow alongside you, and you feel responsible for protecting and helping your little brother. And he is much younger than you and your older brother. Imagine that you and your older brother are young adults, and that unfortunately you have no parents, and you are trying to work together to take care of the house and especially your younger brother. Imagine that your older brother is a bit of a bully to you, in the sense that from time to time he criticizes you, makes you feel bad. He tries to sort of tell you what to do, but in a mean way, and punishes you for not obeying his wishes. From time to time, he calls you names or yells at you, but all you have is each other. There's all the three of you, and you have to work together. And you in the middle, well, you are trying to keep the peace. You know, for perhaps for the sake of your little brother, that it is important to get along, to move forward through life. And you know that your little brother would be quite upset if um, things were to not go well between the three of you. And imagine that time passes, and things go on like this for a while. Your big brother, is not all that bad, as long as you kind of do what he wants and accept his bullying and don't say much. He's pretty much okay, especially because you're all working to provide for the house, keep the house clean, working jobs to get money, that sort of thing, and especially taking care of your little brother, who is a sensitive fellow, and you definitely wish to protect him above all else. But as time passes, it gets more and more difficult for you because you feel like more and more you're being disrespected, and it's not okay for another person to treat you like this. You feel that overall you've been nothing but nice to your older brother, but that he continues to be mean to you. So you decide to make some changes. You decide to start standing your ground more. And most specifically, you think and try to say, well, if my brother upsets me, what if I just tell him to leave me alone and take time to calm down so I'm not as upset, and then continue whatever it is that we were doing? That sounds very reasonable to you. That any normal person would respect that request. You certainly would respect it in others. So you do that. But somehow your brother doesn't want to respect that. You start realizing that he thinks that he should have access to you as a person to get you to speak or interact with him or do something for him whenever he pleases. He's not willing to leave you alone just because you ask him. He just continues to deal with you, and that concerns you greatly. You're trying to keep your cool in these sorts of situations. Remember, the little brother needs to be protected, But you think, what on earth am I going to do? And you discuss this with your brother when you get a chance, when he's not too upset. And you're thinking, well, how about a video camera? The video camera keeps people honest, records both sides of the conversation. How about we try to speak, both of us in front of the video camera, to speak respectfully to each other, to work out whatever it is that we need to work out? Your brother is upset at the suggestion, says he doesn't want to be filmed. You don't understand why he would not want to be filmed. You have no issue discussing anything, you have nothing to hide. But in the spirit of respect, which you want to give to your older brother, you're willing to say that that's okay. You're gonna respect his wishes. But that discussion that you're having also makes you upset, and you repeat the request to be left alone. So imagine you're asking him repeatedly to please leave you alone, please leave you alone, and he doesn't want to. He keeps trying to get you to talk to him and to interact with him. He's being mean, and you feel that it's not okay. So, in an attempt to get him to leave you alone, you pick up the camera and attempt to start filming. In that moment, he lunges at you. He rushes at you to try to rip the camera from your hands and starts attacking you, basically, physically. Uh, you manage to defend yourself, and then you're shocked. He's done this before, but never as mean as this time. And he's just uh, just attacked you. Oh my God. So you just rush out of the house, you leave, and think, what are you gonna do? You decide to call the police because it's not okay for somebody to hit you, you think, under any circumstances. All right, so police arrive. To your surprise, your brother emerges calm and composed as if uh, nothing was wrong and speaks to the police. And you start wondering, was he really that mad that he couldn't control himself when he lunged at the camera? Or did he kind of do it intentionally? Either way, it's not okay, surely. It's not okay for somebody to hit you, regardless of the reasons. Especially, never mind that, especially because all you were doing was asking to be left alone. You weren't being mean or confrontational. You weren't calling him names. You weren't yelling at him. You certainly weren't hitting him. You were just asking to be left alone. Something that seems entirely reasonable to you. That any respectful person would respect that boundary, that request. And you think of your little brother. He's not wasn't around, thank God for that. Your little brother wants nothing better than the three of you to get along well and for things to be smooth. What on earth are you going to do? So you vow within yourself to never make your brother upset and do your best to keep the peace. But you've been doing that already, and but you can do it even further, sure. And you try to later to talk to your brother about it, but to your surprise, he insists that all of this was your fault. If you hadn't wanted to start filming, he wouldn't have hit you. And if you didn't want to keep him away, he wouldn't have been so upset trying to get you to talk. This seems fundamentally wrong to you. First of all, he hit you, regardless of why. It's not okay to hit somebody. When you were a kid at school, if you punched another child or hit another child, okay, maybe you were angry, but you got in trouble for it. And it was your fault for hitting the other child, regardless of anything else. And what's so wrong with being asked to be left alone? So he insists, your brother, that in order to keep the peace and um, you should admit that you lied about um, to the police about him hitting you, and that it was your fault, basically, because you got him so upset that he hit you, which is equivalent of him asking you to lie. He says that he's the older brother and he can take your little brother away from you. He can just uh, take him, and he's the one who's going to decide from now on what your little brother is allowed to do in your presence, which means that if you misbehave again or upset him, he's just going to take your little brother away from you, and there's nothing you can do about it. That tortures you inside your soul because you love your little brother so much, and you know in his pure heart and soul, all he wants is for you guys to get along. And he doesn't understand everything that went through with you. He couldn't possibly. And then your older brother starts bringing your little brother into these arguments. You desperately wanted to protect your little brother, but and you thought there's no way you would bring him into these arguments between the two of you, these older ones. But to your shock, here he is, uh, talking to your little brother and telling him how upset he is at you, that you've been misbehaving and doing this, that, and the other, and you're doing wrong. You desperately want to protect your little brother, and now you're in a double bind. Either you feel you confess to something you didn't do, you feel uh, like a sort of prisoner or on trial, and you're being asked to confess to something you didn't do, something that you're innocent of, um, or you'll have your little brother taken away. And in these sorts of circumstances, Aaron, it is exceptionally difficult to tell the truth. This sort of double bind is a potential test of a man's character. May we find the wise way out. Thank you very much for listening to me.